Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to my channel. As I told you, I decided to get myself a new tent. This tent that I'm sitting in right now is the Zpacks DuplexL, and I'm switching it out with the Lanshan or the Mir 2 for many different reasons. But I first wanted to show you a few things that I like about this tent and as compared to the Lanshan 2. And then I want to take you over to the Lanshan and show you some of the things that were pretty cool about that tent, but just didn't work out for me. So let me start off with the fact that I like that this has a Foley half moon open piece here. The netting can open all the way through and then also close all the way through. The reason I like that is because when I'm out there on the trail, as I have already experienced, grabbing stuff from the outside of the tent isn't always easy if you only have a quarter moon opening, and it's just not easy to close things. And even if you're sitting on the right side, sometimes some of the stuff you're reaching is on the other side and it's hard to get to. So I like that. I also like that on the inside there's these little adjustment poles so they can pull the bathtub up a little bit in case it's not working quite the way it's supposed to and it's kind of falling down. Of course, this tent is made of DCF, otherwise known as Dyneema composite fabric, and which makes it literally 1.3 pounds. I was amazed. I didn't quite believe it when I ordered it. I've heard from other people that it's true, but I wanted to know for a fact that that was the truth. And when I got it, I went ahead and weighed it right away. And lo and behold, it's perfect. It is 1.3 pounds. And with my very lightweight stakes, it is still only at 1.8 pounds. So it's under 2 pounds complete. And that is even with the ground sheet that I got from the other tent. So I'm super happy because that's perfect. That literally takes about 1.5 pounds or 1.3 pounds off my total weight. I'll show you here sometime in this video the pictures between the two weights that when I weighed them on my scale in the house. Anyway, another thing I like is that on the outside of this tent, I'll show you here in a minute, but there is actually a stake in the middle that lifts up this centerpiece to keep it a little bit higher down there by my head. When I was in the Lanshan, the Lanshan's made of a typical fabric that you would see on older style tents, and whenever it got wet, it soaked up the water and it would not dry for hours on end. But when it soaked up the water, it also kind of collapsed in on you. So when you're sleeping at night, once the water hit, it kind of fall in on you, and I'd end up having to readjust and move out of the way. And I just never had any space to sleep because I felt like everything was closing in on me, even when I set the tent up the right way. On this one, I'm not going to have that issue because this dynamic composite fabric does not absorb water, so it dries very quickly, and also keeps from getting wet and kind of collapsing in on you while you're sleeping. So I'm excited about that as well. Trying to think if there's some other things here. It's very easy to put up. Of course, it's a single wall tent. Now I will have to deal with some dew in the morning or some water on the inside that might be an issue, but there is, down here you can see, there is a small piece of fabric right here to let the water kind of go out and drain out the side. So hopefully that will work. And so I think that from what I've heard from other people, it will work really nicely. In general, this is a great tent, but I will tell you, it's over $700. So $150 tent compared to a $700 tent, I would hope that everything I'm pointing out right now makes it a better tent, and in fact it does. So I'm really happy to be taking this back out on trail with me, and because I want to keep my weight under 30 pounds. I made that decision last time. I think I went out and I trained prior to going on the Appalachian Trail with less than anything under 30 pounds and under. I never had any issues. I didn't go up big mountains like I did while I was on the trail, but I didn't have any issues with my sciatica, and I think that really had a lot to do with the fact that I kept my weight low. I was hitting anywhere between 35 and 37 pounds while I was on the trail. Once I switched out my bag, I kept it under 35, but still, and it didn't hurt my sciatica as much, but it was still there. So I think that this time around, keeping it under 30 is going to be a benefit to me. And part of that was buying this tent because it's literally almost 2 pounds lighter, or 1.5 pounds lighter, and makes a huge difference overall. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and break down here, and I'm going to go over to the other tent. I'm going to show you the outside of the tent on this tent, why I like it, and I'll show you the outside of that tent, and I'll show you the inside of that tent, and we'll just show you some things that were positive and some things that were negative on the Lanshan. A positive thing, again, is that Lanshan 2 is a $150 tent. It does weigh 3 pounds, a little bit more than 3 pounds if you use the ground sheet and you have some stakes that are a little bit heavier. I have carbon stakes. I have 8 of them, and they are pretty light, so it keeps things lighter. But there's a few other things that are positive about that I'd like to show you here in a minute. So let me go ahead and break down, and I will get back with you here in a few minutes. Actually, just before I go over there, I wanted to show you inside here. There is a whole lot more room. I got my long pad in here, and there's a lot of room at the front here, and there's a lot of room on the other end. And that's because this tent is the DuplexL. It's a larger size duplex, and it's designed for people that are over 6 foot in general. So I noticed that immediately that I have a lot more foot space and a lot more head space, and I'm super excited about that as well. All right, well, let me get you over there to the Lanshan. Okay, so now we're outside, and a few of the things I want to show you that I like on the Zpacks are, one, that if you can come down here, I can show you from the outside. This is that stake right there that lifts the inside of the tent up. As you can come back, you can see that. Now, I've seen some people alter their tents when they didn't have that stake and actually put a piece of wood in between there, but I like that that's there already. The other thing I like is if you get down here, see how you got this little pull string? That's an attachment that goes on every one of the sections, so you can tighten up all the way around everything. It's really easy. It's a simple little attachment, and it works really, really well. So you can see that all the way around. So I like that about the Zpacks. One of the things I don't necessarily like about the Zpacks, though, is that it does not have a zipper for the enclosure. So it just kind of wraps around right here like this on both sides, and it connects right down here. Let me show you, it connects right down there on that little piece. And it kind of folds over the top of the other. Most tents I've seen that are designed like this, the trekking pole tents, usually you have a zipper there, and I imagine that's part of the reason why this tent is so much lighter as well. So I can do without that. It's not a big deal. I don't think it's going to be an issue with rain. Okay, so coming over here to the Lanshan, or the Mirror, I think that's the US version of the same tent. It does have some poles right here on the corners, so you can see that there, but it's only on the corners of each side. This tent, you can't see it from the outside, but is a double wall tent, which means the mesh is a separate entity all the way around on the inside, so you can see it right there. See how it's separated? And the other thing I like is that it has a zipper on this one, so it zips and it attaches in the same way. You can see that with the Mirror or the Lanshan 2, it looks pretty much exactly the same design as the Zpacks. These were originally made in China, I believe, and as is, Chinese like to steal our designs, so it doesn't surprise me. But I will say, again, for $150, this is a pretty darn good tent. It doesn't have as much room on the inside, if I can show you right here. Now, if you look on the inside there, you can see that the bed on the tent, you can see where it's kind of hanging down. We get inside here in a minute. But and it's only got that quarter moon opening right there. So if I have this end down and I have my stuff right here, it's kind of hard to reach around. I have to get out of the tent. Anyway, so that's the outside of these two tents. And this is where I was talking about. You see how this little attachment here in the middle, where the string goes, let's see, goes from right there and then goes all the way down right to there. A lot of people I've seen take sticks and just kind of lift it up right here, so you can see when it pulls up like that, it kind of makes opens up the tent a little bit more on the inside. Anyway, so again, the attachments or the tightening areas on this one are a little bit different placed. They're right here like this, and you just adjust it that way. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get on the inside of this, and I will talk to you more about the inside of this tent and why I liked it and why I chose, though, to go with the Zpacks. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so as you can see right away, I just don't have as much room here. There's not headspace, and it's because it's a double wall tent, but this mesh stretches out really super easy, and it just is all falling in on the sides, and I can barely even move around in here very much without kind of touching the mesh constantly. Don't like that very much. And the other things I don't like is that once I get in here, I don't have a lot of space for my feet, and I don't have a lot of space for my head. I either have to kind of choose which one I want to use more, and I usually just push my feet all the way down, and I end up, touching the mesh and touching the outside of the tent a lot. Yeah, this just doesn't work out. The other thing I was telling you about is that is because the material is designed the way it is, once it gets stretched out, it doesn't kind of retake its form. It just gets more stretched out and more loose, and you have to tighten it up everywhere. And over time, even trying to tighten it up doesn't work very well. And of course, you can see how little space I have to get in and out of this tent because of this little quarter moon design, where it doesn't open up all the way through. So overall, I think the Zpacks purchase was a really good choice. Yeah, it did cost me, but I think it was worth the purchase for a trip that is essentially going to take me 6.5, 7 months. And I hope that I gave you some good information, and I know that this is going to be a great thing for me. Look forward to talking to you more while I'm on the trail. And for those of you who were a little concerned about whether or not I really was going to go back to the trail, I made a $700 purchase just so you know that I am definitely going back to the trail. I'm looking forward to going back to the trail, and I am looking forward to staying on the trail this time around. I don't think that I'm going to have the issues I had with the sciatica last time. I think it was kind of a one-out situation, and I'm going to make sure I do my mobility flexibility routine in the morning. I did not do it as consistently as I thought I should last time, and now I know I'm going to have to if I want to make it through this whole adventure. So I hope to hear from you about this video and about my future videos, and I look forward to talking to you more on the trail. Until then, I will see you on the trail. Have a great day.